Aussie Bonsai Bloke here, how you go? Today, working on this citrus. This was an Airlayer Kumquat from the mother plant was Kumquat that's 30 to 50 years old, I'd say, grown in a pot. And didn't airlayer on it, so the mother plant was 6 foot tall, maybe more, grown in a single pot all its life, at least 30 years old, a lot of age on it, and didn't airlayer. And this is the result. So the airlayer was done probably 3, maybe 4 years ago. It was done and cut off 3 years ago. I haven't shown this tree yet. Literally, I've just been letting it get healthy. So it's taken all that time to get healthy, and as you can see now, she's got healthy. I've probably spent a while learning how to fertilise it properly, realising that the citrus need a lot more fertiliser. So today we're just going to do its first style, turn it into a bonsai. So let's hope we can make it look like, you know, at least give it a start. Won't look like a bonsai yet, but at least it'll have a start. So first job, we've got to see how the airlayer went on the roots. I know when I severed the airlayer there was not a lot of roots, but as you can see she's grown up pretty healthy now. So I'll have to see what the root base is like. That'll be the first job. So first job, let's get this thing out of the pot and lift her up and see what she's like. Okay, so it still hasn't filled the pot. Bottom of the pot is still full of soil. Still has not filled the pot, even with all this lovely top growth. So we're going to have to be careful here. What I'll do is I'll expose enough that I can see where the roots are, so that we can try and choose a front, and then I'll get rid of a lot of this canopy at the top before I reduce any more. But I'm not going to crazily reduce this root ball. We really just want to see where the top is, and then I'll put it back in a pot. As you can see, there's not a lot of roots here. Surprising. It's been in here for 3 years and it's got a lot of top growth. You would have thought there would have been a lot of roots, but not a lot yet. That's alright. Looks healthy, so that's the main thing. So I'll just rake these roots out just till we can get down to where we can see where I did the air layer. Then we can choose where the best front for the tree will be. That'll be the plan. Plans don't always work out. The root base might look like crap, and we might have to come up with a different plan or just settle for a fairly average tree, but we'll see what happens. So I just want to carefully dig down. So I'll work my way around here without trying to break any roots off. You will break some, but hopefully not too many. I'll put my pot under here. Okay, so I'll clean the roots off a little bit, and then we'll get back to looking at how we're going to style it. Okay guys, well I ended up bare rooting it because I couldn't really see any main roots, just to see what's going on in there, and it turns out it's a lot of fine roots, so they're yet to thicken up, but there is a few fat ones coming on here, but there's actually quite a few here, so she should be fine. You can see around the tree there. It's very top heavy at the moment, so the first job I'm going to do is I'm just going to hack the top off, just so that it's not so top heavy. She's really top heavy. It's got all those fruit hanging on there. Kumquat. All the new ones. Lots of them. So let's hack the top back. Might even give one a taste test, you know. Alright guys, so I spun the tree around a little bit before. It's got a decently straight trunk there, pretty crappy really. Bit of a bulge out here. Taper's not too bad, but just reasonably straight trunk, so it's going to be hard to try and accentuate any movement out of that. But I think we can give it some. So maybe there, I could give it some movement, put some branching out here, let these ones fatten up. So like that would give it a bit of movement, which is not a bad option. The thing is, it's probably the worst of the root base, and it puts the main trunk at the back. Another option is there. There's the front. Sort of like that somewhere. And then we can lean the tree just out a bit, and that gives it a good shape. Now all the leaves are going that way because originally this was leant over in the pot like that, growing straight up. So the leaves and the branches will reorientate themselves as the sunlight changes. So because it'll be stood up now, it'll reorientate itself. I think it was put on an angle so much because it sort of fell over in the pot as an air layer because it had no roots. So for now, let's just hack it back pretty hard. I'm literally just going to give it a good haircut all over. Cut it outside of where I think I'll be finishing any branching, just to lighten the load a bit so that I'm not fighting to hold it straight up, because at the moment she wants to fall over. Bye bye fruit. Bit of fruit. Might try one in a minute, the old kumquat, see how they go. See what they taste like. Make sure it is a kumquat, pretty sure it is. Unless it's some new variety of bloody citrus, I think she's a kumquat because it's pretty small fruit. Oh shit. Oh. Bloody clamp. I don't know what it'll do with this other fruit left on here. It might drop it all after it's had a bit of a shock, but we'll see. So you can see just by cleaning it up a bit like that, it has actually improved it a fair bit. Hang on, is that the back? That's the front. So with these leaves, when they start facing towards you, will look a bit better. It'll make sense hopefully soon. Right, let's try one of these kumquats, see how they taste. Got a 40-degree day here, so pretty warm. Like a mini mandarin. So sour. Really sour. Yep, the sourness is addictive. Maybe that's what they make warheads out of. The old sour kumquat. Right, so that's that gone. Okay, next job I might do. Well, no, I'll just hold it and work around the tree. So what we want to do now, we've chosen that as a front. Or I have. You guys didn't get much of a say in it, but I still do like that as well. But I like that more just because the branches are coming at you. But the truth is, that the main top goes away from you if you do that. And these branches will come at you soon enough anyway in the sun. So we'll do that, even though it won't look as good now. Okay, so if that's the front, we've got to chop off anything at the very front down the bottom. That'll have to go. I'll chop off inside branches on this bottom branch. Okay, so now it'll only start branching out there. That's fine, and I'll probably guide wire that to the pot, maybe even use it to tie it down. And I'm going to let them ones run. They won't be chopped, they'll be able to run maybe even 6 foot long to really fatten this branch up, make it a nice big fat branch. So that'll be the idea for that one. This one here, I think I'll leave on as well, let it fatten up. This one here is more of a tree, the trunk, not a branch. Same with this one, secondary trunk or tertiary trunk. So that's it, bottom one's done. Now let's go to the next one. Just chop off the boring branches, really. Don't worry about whether they're hanging down or going up. That's not an issue. Just chop off the boring branches and the one that is shooting back in towards the middle. Just debating on whether this one here is up high enough to create a bit of a pad out here. I think it is just. I will get one of them, get rid of one of them. There's two. Get rid of one. Chop it down. Encourage that one to grow out to the side. Chop that one off. So you just want to choose branches that look like they're in the right spot. Choose some more interesting branches. You know, this is a first styling, so we're just choosing branches and cutting the rest off. Choose all the interesting branches that are well spread out throughout the canopy and in interesting spots. And, you know, to be honest, this is how I style all my trees. Every tree I have has been styled similar to this. As far as just picking the most interesting branches and going with it. And eventually they turn into something. It won't look anything today, I agree. But this is the first styling, the first step of a 10-year, probably a 10-year plan. So this is only year one of the plan. We've got another 9 to go. So you've got to eliminate all the crap first, and then start making the bits that you do want to keep look more beautiful over time. Let them divide, let them grow. Okay, so I'm just chopping out some more inside branching that's cluttering the place up. Bit of clutter, get rid of the clutter. Don't really want more than 2 from each location. 2 branches from each spot, but if there's a couple of spots like that, that's okay. You just don't want to do it too often. Come around the back, or is that the front? Still the front. So unfortunately the root base is not that great. Still a bit ugly, but it's got time to improve, don't worry. We'll keep that. So another thing you're looking for is, one, you're looking for movement in the branch that you want to keep, so they're not so dead straight. So here's a really dead straight one, but it's nice and fat, and it'll be good to contribute to the canopy. So what I'll do is I'll cut it back pretty hard to that short shoot to let it divide. If it was a thin one, I would have got rid of it. And you can see some of the tree naturally gets rid of, sheds some of its inside branches because they're not getting enough sun. So the tree's sort of half done a little bit for us. If you left it a few more years, it would probably grow itself into a bonsai. So yeah, I'm getting rid of branches that are straight and ugly or in the wrong spot. And also trying to choose branches that have a little bit of or division already starting on them. Rather than a straight one without division, you look for one that's got, you know, divides into 2 or 3 shoots. So here's a straight one here, next to one that divides, so the straight one will go. One that divides is next to it. Now I've got no idea what time of year to repot these, but it looks like this is the time of year. We've got a 41-degree day today here in South Australia, and here I am repotting my lemon tree. I just, on a whim, decided let's do it. Well, I shouldn't say lemon, citrus, Sam. Citrus. So there's a lot of branching here to choose from. That's one good thing about leaving them untouched for, you know, decent amount of years. Nearly 3 years, I think. It gives you a lot of branching. If I was to work on this 6 months after I collected it, it would have given me almost nothing to work with, and it would have had no strength, almost no root system. As it was, there's not a great root system. It's all right, but it's not great. So yeah, don't be impatient and work on your air-layered or collected trees too early. I consider an air layer, especially a big air layer like this, off a potentially 50-year-old tree, grown in a pot for a long time. Be patient with them, don't rush them. If you rush them, you'll stress it out too much and it'll die. I've got no doubt that this one will shoot back fine. So now I'm just cutting back some of the long branching, still trying to edit some branching out. Like I said, choose branches that are in the right location with some interest. They were the only 2 things that you remember. Choose a branch in a good location so you've got diverse foliage, and make sure they've got some interest about them, or divisions. Another way of thinking about interest is divisions. But quite simply, if you like that branch, keep it. If you don't like it and it's ugly, delete it. Just getting into the top here. Still trying to get rid of some more branching. A lot of shoots here to choose from, like I said. Unless something interesting happens, I might just skip a bit. Ooh, nearly chopped the wrong one. Keep them. So here we got two strong branches here, going in the right direction, but they're competing. And I'm going to choose the one that's shorter, but got a lot of branch division. So if I defoliate that, you can see the two that I'm trying to choose from. This one here with a lot of branch division, or this straight one here. So I'll get rid of this straight one here, gone, and opt to keep that one there with a lot of branch division. Doesn't really matter how ugly it looks after this first styling. It'll improve in time. Like I said, this is a first styling on a 10-year journey. Well, more than 10 years. Let's hope she goes for 50 years with me, maybe, if I live that long. But you know, citrus have been kept in pots for, I can't remember what the oldest citrus in a pot is. I think it's over 500 years old, 400 years old. They can actually get quite old in a pot. They don't mind pot life, as long as you keep the food up to them. So we're still just choosing branching here. Getting rid of the ugly. Getting rid of the ugly, keeping the interesting. Doesn't take that long. And if you chop the wrong thing off, don't worry about it. Something else will grow. It's not rocket science. Cut the boring, keep the interest. Simple. Very, very simple. And that doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. The only other thing that's slightly more complicated is keep your lower branches that you want to fatten up, because they're not fat enough yet to be really good solid bottom branches. So these four here, or let's say three, because I don't want that one. These three here are now going to be allowed to really grow out long. All three of these are going to grow super long. I'm going to defoliate and cut back the rest of the top, so the bottom can hopefully get going first. And then in time I'm going to keep cutting back the top, let the bottom grow out really super strong. And then when I do cut the bottom back, after it gets super strong and maybe even as thick as my thumb, so it could be 2 years of growth out there, when it gets as thick as my thumb and I cut it back, it'll just shoot out massive shoots flat out. So don't worry about getting your branch division while you're trying to fatten up the branch. Let the branch grow out. Let it get as fat as your thumb, if you know that's what it needs to be compared to this trunk. Then cut it back, you know, reasonably short. It'll shoot out massively again, and then you start doing your refinement. But even on the secondary, you want that still to be fat, so you'll probably let that grow for another year. So this branch could be 1 year to get really long and fat, 2 years to get some secondary branching, and the third year we could get some tertiary branching. Well, fourth year it'll be. So 2 years to get fat, 1 year to get secondary, and then another year, which is the fourth year, before you start getting some of this finer branching that this has already got up the top. But don't worry, it will catch up. It'll be fine. I'll probably let, as long as there's not any spots where there's two branches from one location, I can probably let all of them grow on each of these branches. If you do have spots where there's more than two from any location, make sure you go back to two now, because if I let this get super fat on some of this division back here now, if there's three, you're going to end up with a massive reverse taper. So just keep an eye on that if you're going to leave more than one branch. This one's fine, it's a single branch. This one down here actually divides into close to 10 branches, maybe more. But I'm not going to let any of these areas have more than 2 from any location, otherwise you'll end up with a fat inverse taper. So that's that. You'll actually, when this grows and gets fat, you'll be able to cut a fair bit back and actually have some of your divisions. You can even let one grow super long and start cutting the others back, and then you're actually developing the pad, or the, not so much the pad, but the branch structure. You can develop that branch structure while you're growing something else really long. But for now, that'll all grow, and that'll grow. And we're nearly finished working on this tree. Just want to defoliate the top a bit more. Getting super hot, starting to sweat now. Super, super hot. Okay, I think we're good for now. Let's get it potted up into a big container, not into a bonsai pot, into a grow container. Put some soil in there and let it grow again. Then come back to it in another year and work on it again. Be patient, don't work on your tree too much. If you've only got a few, get some more trees. You need to have a lot of trees when you first start, because you want to work on stuff all the time. So don't just have 5 or 6 trees and overwork the one tree. It'll be a year before I work on this tree again. I'm going to let it grow solid for another year and then see where we are in a year. I might have to let this grow 2 years, 2 years and another 2 years. So 2 years time, bottom might be done, but maybe next year I might chop the top again. So it takes time. And yeah, let's get it potted up. Okay guys, so the pot was a bit deep, so I've just shortened her up a bit. And let's plant her in that. So I'll get some mix. Yeah, you can use cactus mix, bonsai mix. This is Debco bonsai mix. You can use potting mix. Whatever you want to use. I'm not going to be no critic telling you off. Do whatever you like. At the end of the day, it's just a potted plant. Same as your house plants, nothing special. I mean, they're special as far as they mean more to you, but they're no more special in the needs of the plant, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to keep all these roots on and just tuck them in the plant, in the pot. I don't want to take too many more off. So I'm just going to tuck them in, let them get long and strong, and maybe they'll fatten up. So let's choose where we wanted that front again. Here somewhere, I think. Yeah, somewhere there, that'll be the front. Bit of a pity there was no branch on the back at all. If I spun it around, there was one there to go on the back branch, but that's alright. You can use one of these side branches, one of the side shoots as a back branch as well if you need to, if it doesn't end up putting out one in the future. But you know, citrus do back bud well, especially after they've had a really hard cut back like this. So you want to lean the tree towards you a bit, so that'll be your front. So you want to lean it towards you. Make sure you get your planting angle right now, because it'll be bloody hard to change later on once it sets in here for 3 years. It'll be probably at least another 3 years before I repot this now. Okay, maybe a slight more angle. Maybe something like that. You know, you can change it a little bit, but you can't crazy change it once you've set it in a certain position. So let's put some more mix around it. I'm hoping it can stay up long enough for me to go and get a wire for a guide wire, but we'll see. Yeah, it looks like it's going to stay there for us, guys. So I'll go get a bit of wire and I'll be back. I just want to anchor it to the tree, the tree to the pot. So you're very straight trunk in places, but you give it a bit of an angle and try and put a back branch back here, and it might take some of that straightness out of it, so your eye doesn't get stopped on it. And you know what? Trees in nature have a bit of straightness about them anyway. You can really smell the citrus in here. I love the smell of citrus. Alright, I'll get some wire. Okay guys, well I've put a little bit of extra mix in the top here. That bag's gone. Got me wire here. She's a right old mess. Bit of a riot act going on there. So what I'll do is I want to tie it in, and I'll probably use 3 points. One from this main one, this main one, and this main one. So I want this one to go on 1/3 here, that one on a third there, and that one on a third there, and that will anchor it in the pot nicely. So what I'll do is I'll put a hole right through without stabbing myself a hope. And then what we want to do is get a bit of this right act wire. Looks like a car after 6 months of camping in it. Go tied around there. Oh, sorry, I was going to show you that. That's a bit of a fish tube. The bubbling, you know, the fish tube, the fish tank tube that you get for the bubbler. Just a bit of that plastic. I'll put that around where it's going to be in contact with the trunk. Okay. So then it won't mark the bark, and I'll cut it. Put it through the hole. You can see it's just starting to pull the tree that way a bit. That's enough. Tie it off nice and firm. Now we're going to do the same for the other two. Okay guys, well, we got all 3 guide wires, 1/3 around the pot, equal distance, and that holds it steady. You can see I can maneuver it around pretty well. I'm not going to lift it, but it's pretty solid, whereas before it almost wanted to tip over. So that's a good way of tying your trees in your pot, if you've got these plastic pots. So what I'll do now for aftercare, I'll water it. And I'll straight away give it some fertiliser. I'll just show you my fertiliser I just bought. Okay, so we got a 10 litre power feed here from old Bono's, 80 bucks. Bloody beauty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fertilise this one here at full strength straight away. It's got a bit of sea salt in it. It's an organic fertiliser with fish emulsion and stuff. Good for your trees, and lemon trees are really thirsty, so it's going to want a good feed now after all this, and it shouldn't look back. So, you know, I still fertilise my trees after a repot. Not everyone does, I know, but I do, and I don't seem to have a problem with it. So give it a full power feed, let these ones grow out. Actually, what I will do, bear with me. Okay guys, I just pulled that one down a little bit, pulled this one around a bit. I'll just have a look from the front. Yeah, you know, that separates them a bit so that they've got room to grow out. Whatever they do later on, whatever they do, it's fine. It just gives it some movement here. When I cut it back to here, it'll have some movement and not be quite so straight. I've just tied on wherever it fits, you know. Tied onto this guide wire fine in the right spot, and after another few months they'll probably be set there anyway, and you'll be able to take all the guide wires and stuff off once the roots settle in. Yeah, that's about it for today. 30 to 50 year old Airlayer done as a bonsai. So that's it, Kumquat. So really cool. As you can see, she puts out masses of fruit, so it'll look really cool when it's a full tree. When these grow out and then come up, I'm going to have this into a big full tree, and hopefully full of kumquats, so it should be good. But keep posted for 10 years. You want to see it. That's how long bonsai takes, and that's good, because what else are we going to do sitting at home bored? Better than sitting in front of the TV or YouTube. Although I'll excuse you because I watch YouTube all the time too. No worries, catch you later. Cheers for watching Aussie Bonsai Bloke. Please like, share, subscribe. Really hope you enjoyed today's video. A bit of something different, a citrus. I might have done a citrus in one of my videos before, but to be honest, I've been letting them grow. So this was an Airlayer, so I've been just waiting for the right time, and today was it. No worries, cheers, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers. Clip and grow all the way, baby.